Fenty Beauty has launched their new Soft Lit Luminous Longwear Foundation, so let's try it out. Hey Socialites, welcome back, and if you're new here, I'm Ariell. I do mainly beauty videos, fragrance, and lifestyle, so if those are the type of videos you enjoy watching, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and come join the family. So in today's video, we're going to do a full review and wear test of Fenty Beauty's newest foundation, which I was super excited to get my hands on it. It's the new Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Luminous Longwear Foundation. So I did order it from Sephora and it retails for $40. When I placed my order, you guys, it was at my front door in like 2 days. Record timing. So was excited about that. I did pick up 2 shades. I picked up 410 and 400. So we're going to try it out and give it a wear test. Now, this is a reformulation. This foundation did launch, I think, a while ago. They reformulated it. The undertones are supposed to be less orangey, which I think it was a complaint. I think some people were complaining about the undertone. Now, this luminous formula is supposed to be waterproof, resist creasing, fading, sweat, humidity, and transfer. So let's jump right into it and try this out. So I'm going to start off and moisturize my lips with my Fenty Plush Pudding. So here's the actual foundation with the standard cardboard outer packaging. It does have the black, white, and gray colors to it, which I love. Black is my favorite color, y'all, and the combination of black and white. Can't go wrong with that. So it's the Soft Lit Naturally Luminous Longwear Foundation. So you had me at luminous and longwear. Okay, so I did pick up 2 colors. So here's the outer packaging. Looks very similar, almost identical to the original packaging. But this time on the cap, they did put the FB logo for Fenty Beauty on the top of it. Whereas the old formula, it was just a smooth cap without the initials on the top. And I love a good frosted glass packaging. It just gives looks. And so when you take the cap off, it does have a pump. So 400 here and 410 here. So we're going to test out both. So one of the changes with the reformulation is that they took out some of that orangey undertone. So that's something that I know a lot of people sort of complained about, was that the undertones was a bit orangey, and I did experience that as well. So this one's the Soft Matte Pro Filter Foundation in the shade 410. So let's see the difference in the shade. So that's the Soft Matte in 410, and right next to it, let's put the Luminous one. So right underneath, we're going to put the Luminous. Eek. So this one's 410 in the Soft Matte, and this one's 410 in the Luminous. And I do see somewhat of a difference, and off the bat you can see that the consistency is different too. The Soft Matte is a little bit thicker in consistency, and then as you can see, the Luminous is sort of running, so it's a little bit thinner of a liquid foundation. The website does recommend that you moisturize your skin first, which I've already done. I just put a very lightweight moisturizer on my skin. So when I do my foundation reviews, I don't like to use primers or setting sprays. I like to see how the product performs on bare skin. That way I can recommend the best primer for you by the end of the video. So 400 and 410 are supposed to be warm golden undertones. So we're going to try one shade on one side and one on the other. The same 50 shades that the original came in, this comes in those 50 shades as well. So they should definitely have a shade for everybody, which Fenty is pretty much known for that. They're known for having a very extensive and inclusive shade range, which I love. I feel like they were a game changer when it came to that shade range. So we're going to start off with 410. I'm going to use 1 pump. The website does recommend that you use 1 pump and a sponge for medium coverage, and this is a medium buildable coverage. You're supposed to be able to get medium all the way to full coverage. They recommend using 2 pumps and a brush for full coverage, which they do have a new brush out for their foundation, which I don't have. It's not in stores, it's online only. So we're gonna do 410 on this side, and I'm gonna use my Sephora number 64 foundation brush. It doesn't have a scent to it, which I don't think any of the Fenty products really have a scent to it. So similar to quite a few of the newer foundations that I've reviewed lately, this is one of those skincare packed formulas where over time you're supposed to see an improvement in your skin tone. So there is an ingredient in this formula, cockadoo plum extract, and that's the ingredient that's supposed to improve your skin tone over time. You're supposed to see an improvement the first time you use it and a little bit more over time. I put 1 pump on my hand and I probably used about half a pump on my face. So we're gonna do 400 on the other side. And I'm gonna use my Real Techniques 200 brush for the other side. Now to me, the undertone of this one on my skin of 400 is given a little bit orangey. I feel like 410 is slightly more neutral. Now, as far as coverage, you guys, I can still see pigmentation through the foundation. It's given medium like the website states. I'm gonna put a little bit more. Yep, and you can build it up to full coverage. So with just a little bit more product in the areas you need it, you can get full coverage, but it doesn't look heavy either, which I like. This formula is also supposed to deliver all day hydration as well, so you're not gonna get that dry look. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the wear test. We're going to the mall, do a little bit of shopping. So we're gonna really be able to see how this performs on like one of my regular everyday routines. This isn't a day where I'm just gonna be sitting in the house and come back a few hours later and let you guys see how it stood up. I'm gonna be in and out of the car. So off the bat, I can tell you I like the shade of 410 a little bit better than 400 just because of the undertone. For concealer, it's only right that we use the new Fenty We're Even concealer. I do have the shade 385. I also have the shade 390 and 400. So I think I'm gonna go 400 is pretty much my skin tone. So we're gonna do 385 to highlight with. My LYS cream bronzing stick. This one's in the shade Courage, just to add a little bit more dimension to the skin. Taking my Ami Collet translucent powder to set my highlighted areas. And the finish is quite luminous, which I do like. I love a good luminous or dewy finish to a foundation, but the determining factor for me is, will it last? Oftentimes with luminous foundations, they tend to get oily over time or don't last as long as like a soft matte. So I don't think it dries down either, because you still feel it a little bit, not sticky, but you see how it's coming off on the finger. So it doesn't quite dry down. So I'm gonna take my Laura Mercier translucent powder. This one's the original formula, and just lightly set the rest of my face. So even though I lightly set with the powder, you can still see that it's a luminous sort of finish to the skin. It still doesn't become like matte or like a semi or soft matte. It still has a little bit of radiance. So I'm gonna bronze my skin with my Sephora Micro Smooth Powder. This one's in the shade Ebony. Hourglass Ambient Powder. My Fenty Hella Thick Mascara. So this is the final look. It's now 10:40 a.m. So I'm gonna go ahead and head out and check back in with you guys in a few hours. Okay, socialites, so I'm back. It's right at 4 hours later. It's 2:45, and this is what we have. So looking in the mirror, there's not really much emphasis on pores and fine lines, which is a good thing, and there's not much oxidation either. One thing that I have noticed is that the shade 400 is a bit warmer with that sort of orangey undertone than 410 is, and especially in sunlight and as the day went on, it was a little bit more noticeable. I don't think it's a crazy difference, but for me it's a noticeable difference. So my skin type is normal to combo, and as you can see, I do have shine in the T-zone area, which is normal for me with most foundations, especially a luminous foundation. Not all of them, but with most of them. So as far as primers, I would probably wear a really good mattifying primer underneath to keep it from getting as shiny as quickly. I think with my e.l.f. liquid putty primer, which is my go-to, I think I should be fine. It would help with my pores in this area because I naturally have a little bit of pores in the cheek area, and I feel like that will help with that as well as help to mattify a little bit longer. I would also recommend using the Cali Ray primer. That's a really good one. Now, if you're somebody with oily skin, if you're wondering if this foundation is for you, I think you could get away with it. If you like how luminous the foundation is and you want to wear something that's a little bit more supple looking to the skin like this one is, make sure you use your best oil controlling primer. And for super oily skin, I recommend the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Balm in Universal because it's clear. You could just put it underneath any foundation if you're any skin color and it works. Now, if you find that the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Balm is too drying for you, try the Cali Ray. It's really, really great at oil controlling and keeping you matte all day, but it's not as drying as the Danessa Myricks. Overall, I think it's a really beautiful product, and I'm looking forward to trying it again. I'm probably going to wear it again tomorrow, but use a primer with it so that I can see if the primer is going to make it look matte, or will I be able to keep the luminosity even if I use a matte primer. So let's try touching it up. I'm going to take my Amicole translucent powder again, the same one I used earlier, and just take a little bit on the back of the same puff that I had. So with the Amicole powder, I'm able to touch it up without it looking heavy or cakey or like I put a bunch of powder on. I think the Say powder would probably do the same thing because it's so lightweight. So comment down below, let me know if you've tried this foundation already or if you're interested in trying it. Every single thing I used today will be linked down below in the description box, so be sure to check that out. If you're new here, welcome. I would love for you to come join the family by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. 'Cause I've been where you are. You're too scared to show me love. 'Cause too fresh with the scars. Well, I don't have the answers.